Today I've got a couple of upgrades for my buddy Clank here. He didn't quite make it through the last convention, so I'm going to beef him up just a little bit and make him a little bit easier to turn off and on. So let me show you what I got planned. This is what we're looking at so far. He looks very sad. The first problem that I have, this omnidirectional bolt. You see it there? It's hanging off the bottom of his neck. It's kind of wiggling. The grub screws to hold it onto this bolt here just won't stay in. And inside him here, so this is his power cable. I need to plug it into the Raspberry Pi right there to turn on his eyes. And I need to yank it and re-put it in every time I want to turn him on and off, which is really kind of difficult, and I have to trust other people to do it while he's on my back. I'm going to put just a power switch in here. This power switch that goes to all of his neck mechanics is a little bit short, so I'm going to make it a little bit longer so this whole computer bit here can be further back and out of the way. So if you see this bolt that's kind of sticking up out of his neck, it actually came off at one point like this, and so his head was just falling down. So I bought a bigger omnidirectional screw like this, goes in all directions. This is 9mm all the way across. This one was only 6, and the grub screws were like the smallest thing on the planet. So that's gonna make a big difference in being able to hold on to that bolt. Need to undo his back screw. I am so nervous undoing pretty much anything that I do because it took, like, seriously, I think 2.5 hours to actually get all of his components all together. I really, when I put them together, was hoping that I would never have to take them apart again. How naive was I? I could pull out kind of his whole innards. Pull each of these guys off of its servo, and his head is way easier to reach now and see what I'm doing. And look at how little the grub screw is. It is like super tiny. What we were using before, and this is what we got now. A much bigger piece of hardware. When I first built him, I was like, I want him to be light, so he's like not uncomfortable on my back. And really, a couple of metal upgrades, just a little bit beefier, it's not gonna make that much of a difference, and it'll make him so much sturdier. All right, let's get it to his little top. I think this will hold really well. Now, he's like on there. I managed to get the cable out. I got a thinner cable, and this one has a switch. It's also very, very long. I couldn't find a short one, so we're gonna shorten this. Don't need it. This length is good. Good news. This super cheap cable with the ends that I need is no data at all. It's literally just a red and black wire. Let's get this wired up. Cut. This is just gone trash. See how hard that was to pull out? That's what I'm trying to avoid with the switch. You just have a little red and black wire there. And separate them out. Now I just gotta put them together. Now, pull these guys over, just make sure they're nice and separated, and then beautiful. Now I have a cable that's maybe like a foot long. This will be in the battery, kind of wrap down. This will be in the front, and then this will go back on itself and then plug in. Show you what I mean when I actually plug it in. Okay, so this was plugged in to the Palui Maestro. I had a switch here, and then I had this, which plugs into the battery. And the switch was just too close to the Maestro, so I'm gonna lengthen these cables here rather than pulling the entire thing out to flip the switch. I managed to melt a battery and it was very scary. I wired my switch wrong, and so when I plugged it in, it was obviously a loop and everything melted and it was too hot for me to unplug it. These are kind of the remnants of the melted wires. The battery is in a safe spot away from here, but it was kind of scary. But I have a new battery and we're gonna wire it up correctly this time. Found out the reason why my battery blew up. It's because I have batteries that have these little connectors in them, right? And I bought connectors. When I cook a connector to a connector, black is on one side, red is on the other, right? Black, black, red, red. When I connect to the battery, which is from a different company, they are not color coordinated. Red, black, black, red, which isn't necessarily a problem until I connect these colors matching and then plug it into my thing. Yes, it was my fault, and it was because of a color coordination issue. But now I see the problem and I'm going to adjust for it, and now we're gonna do it again and not blow up the battery.
One eternity later.
Wow, so that was an absolute mind bend because I went through the entire process again, made another switch, and did the exact same thing. For some reason, my brain just looked at red and went red to red, black to black, but I realized it before I blew up another battery. So I have another one, and I used orange and gray, so no matter what, I had to pay more attention to what was going with which. This one I'm throwing away. So now I have the battery, I have the switch, pull the Maestro. When I switch it, he starts going. I'm gonna put everything in. Beautiful. I've got Clank here, back in his new form. He is all put together, and it's really easy to turn him on now. I have a little switch here, and then a switch here. And there he goes. His eyes will boot up in just a second. There's my guy.